What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished their Week 10 NFL matchup of the 2023 NFL season against the Green Bay Packers at home, and this game was closer than it should have been. It was once again a heart attack that was once again down to the final play, once again in a game that Pittsburgh should have wrapped up earlier than they did. But it's getting to the point now we kind of expect these things as Steelers fans, especially these home games against somewhat inferior teams. But the Packers have been kind of an up and down, middle of the road team, slightly below average, but with the Jordan Love era. Definitely a game that was back and forth a lot. Seemed to be in hand at times, other times was not in hand. But I will go over some notes with you guys as we go. Pittsburgh gets the win, and it could not have been a better day for Steeler fans. Pittsburgh gets the win, moving to 6-3 now. That is 4-1 in their last 5. They've been on a roll. They are one of the hotter teams in the league right now, by hook or by crook, winning any way necessary. But Pittsburgh comes in now, goes to 6-3. Baltimore and Cleveland played today. Cleveland came from behind to win, which puts Cleveland at 6-3, but behind us still because of the tiebreaker. Gives Baltimore a loss, so we get a game on them today. They are now only half a game ahead of us. I haven't had their bye yet, so they're sitting at 7-3. We're at 6-3. Cleveland is behind us at 6-3, and the Bengals lost as well. So Ravens lose, Bengals lose. Bengals are now 5-4. Pittsburgh sitting at the second place in the division at 6-3, just behind Baltimore's half game of 7-3. Division couldn't go any better today. Pittsburgh now at a hot streak, at their peak right now, playing their best overall ball, heading into 2 divisional games coming up the next 2 weeks, one against Cleveland, one against Cincinnati, for I think what is the first time this year, I believe. So 2 divisional games back-to-back coming up for us as we hit our stride. Let's go over stats and we'll talk about it. Offense first. Kenny Pickett, another very pedestrian day, very, very just there. He just kind of exists. He's meant to be a game manager right now, and he managed to win, so we'll take it. 14 of 23, just 126 passing yards, no touchdowns, no picks. I don't think he was sacked today. If he was sacked, it was only once, but we'll get into that as well. But yeah, passing, not a whole lot to speak of. Running the ball, a whole lot to speak of. Leader today is Jaylen Warren, 15 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Najee Harris, not to be outdone by too much, 16 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown. The running game was very successful today. We'll talk about it. George Pickens, 3 catches for 45 yards is our leader. Deontay Johnson, who's been hot the last 2 weeks, just 1 catch for 17 yards. So offensively, Pittsburgh comes out and has the best first 2 drives you could possibly have. Opening drive touchdown for just the second time this season. The Rams was the first. This was the second. Pittsburgh drives down the field. Short passing game, converting on third downs, just getting some short, effective passes. A lot of motion in the offense, which is a positive. Matt Canada looks like he's calling some decent plays. Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris roll down the field. Easy rushing touchdown for Najee Harris. Pittsburgh comes down the second drive. Same thing. Big burst from Jaylen Warren, who gets a really nice touchdown running the ball as well. So 2 drives, 2 rushing touchdowns. Pittsburgh gets ahead and then allows Green Bay to climb back into the game, and their offense kind of shuts down late first half into the second, and we have to kind of rejuvenate ourselves in that late third quarter to fourth quarter like we usually do. So we started hot this time and then hit a lull from like 4 minutes left in the second quarter through most of the third. Pittsburgh kind of hits a lull. The offensive line gets a massive positive today. Ever since Broderick Jones was put in that lineup for Chuks Okorafor, the running game has looked very, very good. Broderick's previous start before this recent stretch was really good, but Broderick has been a difference maker. He pulled today nicely. He led on his side very nicely. I think Mason Cole overall has played better. He had 1 penalty today, but overall he's played better. I think James Daniels has played better. Sayamalu has kind of become the blocker we expected him to. Everyone's played well. Dan Moore had 1 declined penalty as well, but I think Dan Moore's been good in here. I think Dan Moore's the better overall player, and I think him staying on his dominant side helps out a lot because Broderick can play at either tackle position. So this alignment of Chuks on the bench and Broderick Jones starting has led to, number one, I don't think we've been sacked in the last 2 weeks. If so, I think it's been just once. So Pickett's not getting pressured nearly as much as he was. He's staying upright and not getting sacked and not putting our team in second and third and longs. And running the ball the last 2 weeks, we have looked really, really good. Pittsburgh is now in a place where we were at The last time I can remember us being in this place was when Big Ben was in his first and second year, when he was a game-managing quarterback who would throw for short yardage like this. And it was, guys like Jerome Bettis who were carrying the team, running the ball, controlling the ball, no turnovers, keeping the clock on our side, chewing up yardage, able to chew clock at the end of games, allowing ourselves to get ahead by a possession where our defensive ends and outside linebackers could pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. Very similar formula. Running the ball, converting on third and shorts, smart conservative play calls that move the ball slowly down the field, and then dominantly holding the ball without turning it over. Pittsburgh football looks like it's back right now for the first time in a long time. Not going to get ahead of ourselves, but again, Najee at 82 and a touchdown, averaging 5.1 yards a carry. Jaylen Warren, 101 yards and a touchdown. He was averaging like 6.7 yards a carry. This is Steeler football. If we're going to do this old school style and Pickett's going to struggle with accuracy, and there's questions about accuracy and play calling and stuff like that, this is the way to get around that. So big positives to Jaylen Warren, to Najee Harris, to Broderick Jones, to all 5 of the offensive linemen, but I wanted to call Broderick out because he was spotlighted today a lot in a positive way, and he's been the biggest impetus for this change in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, Jaylen Warren is the better overall back. Yes, he's more explosive, and he commits to the hole quicker, but Najee Harris the last 2 weeks has looked like the best version of himself. He has looked like an RB1 NFL starter the last 2 weeks, where he has not the rest of the season. Now that Broderick Jones is in the game. So yes, Jaylen Warren is more explosive overall, but Najee Harris has benefited big time with Broderick Jones in there and Chooks on the bench. Again, passing the ball, not much. I've got to say that that lull we had from mid-second quarter into the most of the third, too conservative on the play calls. You cannot throw the ball shorter than the sticks. If you've got 3rd and 6, you do not throw a 2-yard pass. Yes, our guys bail us out at times. Yes, guys like Jaylen Warren and Connor Hayward know how to break tackles, and they did today. But you cannot throw 2 yards on 3rd and 6. You cannot be at 3rd and 12 and throw a 4-yard play. Just punt it on 3rd down if you're going to do that. If you're just going to give it away and you're not going to even try to get yourself in range for points and you're not going to try and convert, just punt it away on 2nd or 3rd down. Who cares, right? If you have a 3rd and long, or if you have a 2nd and long, and you feel like it's not manageable to make an average play, toss the ball down the field. Deontay has separation speed. Pickens has the hands. Toss it downfield and give one of your 2 superstar receivers a chance. Because like I said, Pickens 3 for 45, it's not enough targets. Deontay did drop one big one downfield. They gave him one deep shot that he dropped today. Bad drop on that. But 1 catch for 17 yards, it's not enough targets. That said, I'm not going to complain about the good blocking and the good running we're doing, but I do want us to take a few of those 5-yard dump-offs and take some shots downfield. At best, it's going to get us a lone completion or a pass interference. At worst, you're just going to get an incompletion. Throw it up and let one of your 2 stars go one-on-one. More times than not, they're going to catch it or draw a flag. Take those shots. That's my complaint on offense. That's the biggest reason for our lull, when we got too conservative and called some bad stuff in the 2nd into 3rd quarter. Defensively, TJ Watt leads the way with 7 tackles, 3 quarterback pressures, and a sack today. TJ got his the only sack of the game for the Steelers defense. Not a lot of pressures. Didn't see Watt in the backfield a whole lot. He got 3 pressures. Highsmith didn't have any until late in the 4th. Was looking for a couple things from him. So not a ton of pressure today, which allowed Jordan Love to sit back in the pocket and pick us apart. A couple nice out plays, some deep plays toward the corner of the end zones for a few touchdowns today, and then picked apart our zone defenses in the middle of the field toward the end of the game in that late 3rd, early 4th to keep those guys in the game and bring those guys back in. 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions, one from DeMonte Casey, one from Keanu Neal. And Keanu Neal's was a beautiful play where Patrick Peterson tipped the ball, was a one-on-one to the end zone. Peterson was in good defensive position, nice and physical, tipped the ball away, and Keanu Neal grabbed it and tapped the toes and ran back about 25 yards to put us in good position. Excellent play on that. DeMonte Casey's was the game sealer. Packers were on about the 25-yard line. Jordan Love threw to the end zone, and Casey jumped it and got a nice pick on that play. He got hit on the sidelines, too, which caused a penalty at the end of the game in a big fight. So hopefully nobody on our team gets suspended. Those 2 nice plays from those 2 nice safeties. Big plus/minus on that. Because, again, our coverage wasn't great today. Joey Porter Jr., for the most part, played very well. I'm going to give him another positive. He had one penalty today on a pass interference where he was holding. Again, he holds a lot. You're going to get those. But overall, he was following Christian Watson quite a bit today at first, then settled back into his side. Played really well overall. Had that one play he gave up on the pass interference. Other than that, Porter is our best cover guy by far. On a team full of veterans, Porter's the one guy as a rookie we can trust out there. I like him in that place. Levi Wallace, man, he got beat on both touchdowns. One, he got outrun by Jaden Reed to the corner. One, he got outrun by, who was the other touchdown? I forget. I don't know, but he got beat on both touchdowns. Levi Wallace was our worst corner as a starter, and now that he's the backup corner, he's the third guy off the bench, the backup outside guy, he's still the worst guy we have. I don't know what happened to him. He was a turnover magnet last year, and he's got a few this year, but he gets beat on those outs constantly. Bad game for Wallace, good game for Porter. And I will say, overall, the safeties have a really mixed bag because we got that really nice play from Neal, the nice pick from KZ, but Neal and KZ were also getting beat a lot on those zones. I don't know whose responsibility they are, if it's a play call situation, if it's a lack of communication because the inside linebackers have been hurt. Cole Holcomb's out for the year already. Quan Alexander went down with an injury early in this game and did not return, so it was down to our third and fourth inside linebackers. Landon Roberts, who's not a cover guy, had the green dot now. And Mark Robinson, who has not played much this year as our fourth guy, is now our other starter until we see what's going to happen with Quan. But our two best cover linebackers are now injured, and Cole's gone for the year. So that's going to cause a lot of problems. Plus, Minkah Fitzpatrick is hurt. So he's the other guy that communicates. So you got your coverage inside linebackers and your coverage / roaming safety all injured. You're going to have a lot of guys, in spite of them being veterans, you got a lot of guys out there who are not used to calling those things. So not sure if it's a play call issue or a confusion issue because of the injuries, but we had plays today that went to Musgrave and Jaden Reed where guys were like, in Wicks, Devontae Wicks, where guys were like 10 yards back on either side. There were guys catching the ball in the middle of the field for the Packers who had nobody on the screen to tackle them. 10 yards of separation. Any NFL receiver is going to chew that alive. And it helped keep Green Bay in the game and got them down to the 25 to almost come down and win the game on us for a touchdown. So really need to shore up our inside linebacker pass coverage, our safety coverage, our communication, and our zone gaps. We have to secure those on defense. That said, the sack and the turnovers were nice. I want to give some positives to Landon Roberts. I did just chew him a new asshole for getting beat on the inside linebacker stuff, which he did. He's not a coverage linebacker. Did have one nice coverage play. But overall, Roberts and Benton were helping with the pressure. Where we didn't see a ton of Highsmith getting involved till the end, we did see Keanu Benton and Landon Roberts. Landon Roberts had 3 nice tackles in the running game. He is a good downhill run tackler. That's something Robinson does well, but Landon Roberts does even better. He had 3 nice running game tackles today. Keanu Benton was all over the field. He had a batted ball. He had a couple tackles when he leaked out on receivers. He had a few tackles around the ball, shared tackles on the quarterback. He got a pressure that resulted in getting off the field on a 3rd down. I love Keanu Benton starting right now. I know it's because Montravis Adams is hurt, but I think Benton should be the full-time starter. I think much like Porter and much like Broderick Jones, who have helped change our season around, it's time to go with Benton full-time. Benton is around the ball a lot. He's excellent. Slot blitzes were a positive today, too. We had a lot of backups in there, but I think Elijah Riley and Chandon Sullivan both made some plays. Riley came back on a drop screen the Packers had, a backward lateral drop screen that Riley made a good tackle on. He also had a nice blitz that caused the quarterback to throw a ball errantly into the ground. And then Chandon Sullivan also came in for a nice blitz off the edge as well. So several guys, I think Sullivan got the batted ball. So using the slot blitz well, much like the old Mike Hilton days. I like that call defensively. Really, really nice stuff. So got to fix the coverage on defense, and we did have the backup running back, A.J. Dillon, who's very talented, have a couple nice runs on us. That's more of a gap security thing as well. But overall, you got to be happy with some of the defensive plays. Special team-wise, several things. Number 1, Patrick Peterson. I mentioned him already having a decent day. Positive for getting a tip ball, which resulted in the interception, which got us downfield to ice the game for the most part. Peterson also blocked an extra point, which would have made the game 23-20 at the end instead of 20-19, which would have meant the Packers would have kicked their game-tying field goal from the 25-yard line, which would have put us in overtime. That blocked extra point really helped us a lot. That extra point saved us and made the Packers have to go for a touchdown, which caused us to get the interceptions, both interceptions, to have us go ahead and win. So Peterson gets a game ball today as well. Chris Boswell, 3 for 3, doing his thing, 9 points out of our 23 for us. Excellent job, my friend. Presley Harvin, 5 punts, 224 yards. That is a 44.8 punt average, and 3 of those punts inside the 20, including a really clutch one that got down to the 19. The Packers had to drive the field to end the game. So overall, again, the passing game is not very impressive, but the running is. The blocking has been exponentially better. For the most part, Canada has been calling better games on the sidelines too. Still got to secure that. Got to take more shots downfield. Cannot get conservative. Cannot fall off and get into a run-pass pattern or passing short of the sticks. Defensively, good splash plays, better pressure. Got to secure up the passing into the zones. Got to get the safety communication and the inside linebacker coverage better. But overall, again, Pittsburgh wins their 4th game out of 5. The division plays right. Baltimore loses. Cincy loses. We're feeling good at 6-3, sitting second in our division, heading into back-to-back divisional games coming up. So who'd you like in today's game? Who stood out to you and why? What did you love about the game plan? What needs to get better? Please tell me in the comments below. If you like these deep dive videos, please like, share, and subscribe. I will keep doing these week after week for you, in addition to my other film reviews, poetry, my movies, stuff like that on the channel. So please keep on supporting. I will see you guys next week with our divisional game against the Browns. Go Steelers.